Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is just going to be, I feel like a short and informative video. So this is called Commanding Angels, the Truth and Deception by Katt Kerr. I include Katt Kerr in this because she's a really good example of deception when it comes to commanding angels. Um, Personally, I've got some experience in angels. There could be a lot of people talking about angels that don't have necessary experience. If you look my name, Matthew Robert Payne, up on Amazon, type in the word angel, you'll find that I've got 9 books on angels. Uh, it would be quite rare to find a Christian author that has 9 books. I've got 128 books, but it'd be rare for someone to write 9 books of angels if they didn't know about angels. So years ago, just to give you some context, years ago, from time to time, I'd sense a whole lot of angels either side of the road. As I was walking down the road, they'd appear, just thousands and thousands of angels, and interspersed between them were saints from heaven also, like people from heaven. Um, I never knew why it was happening, but they carried a lot of glory. Whenever I walked down the street and they appeared, I felt really joyful and really peaceful. I'm not sure if you've ever visited heaven, but yeah, when you visit heaven, heaven is full of the glory of the Lord, and in the midst of division, you feel a whole lot of joy and peace. So that had happened for years, from time to time, without me organizing it, without me doing anything to do it. Thousands of angels would turn up. One time, thousands of angels turned up, and I got so peaceful that I laid down on the highway, believing that the angels uh, would um, would protect me. But that was a pretty serious thing to do, and I'm a person. Just for people who are critics. I'm a person who suffers from bipolar disorder, and I've been in manic states or high states where I've lacked sleep and I've become delusional and believing things that aren't true. So I understand psychosis. I understand being in delusion. I understand losing touch with reality, and that gives me more of an insight into Katt Kerr than the average person. Um, so I've had numerous times where thousands of angels and saints have turned up, and that was the beginning of things. A few years ago, I detailed this in ministering with angels in my book, Ministering with Angels. I tell this story, but a few years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, um, those thousands of angels turned up outside my apartment, and there's actually 2,000 of them, and I've been told they're commanders. Each of the 2,000 are commanders over 300 angels. So the 2,000 commanders turned up, but the the other angels that answered to them were somewhere else, or in the rest of the suburb. Um, and they turned up outside my house, and I sensed them there, and they weren't going away. And there's always a reason for angels turning up. They're busy. They're busy, and they've got reasons for doing things. So there's always a reason why an angel appears to you. You may not know it, but there's always a reason. And so they turned up, and I wondered what to do. And I asked the Holy Spirit, which is a good person to consult, a good entity to consult about spiritual matters. And the Holy Spirit said, they're here for you to command them. And I hadn't read anything about commanding angels before, but Holy Spirit said they're there, and they weren't leaving. They'd been there half an hour. So I went onto Facebook and I said, does anyone have any information about commanding angels? I should have asked the Holy Spirit that question. But we as mankind, we tend to ask man for things. Like, we want to know the answer to the question, so we search for a video or we search for a book on the subject. We don't often consult the Holy Spirit. And so a whole lot of people came up with Katt Kerr, Katt Kerr, Katt Kerr. And I was a fan of Katt Kerr in those years. And so I said, it's no use telling me Katt Kerr. Catkerr videos are very hard to find. Can someone put in the link, the videos? And someone put a link of 2 videos, and they're both 2 hours long, of Katt Kerr speaking on commanding angels. Well, I listened to video 1 and didn't get anything out of it. I listened to video 2. It was about 10 minutes from the end of video 2. So I'd watched about an hour and 50 of it. And she said, yeah, and you may think, like when you see on movies, generals around a table, and they've got like a map, and they've got pins, and they're organizing an army and doing strategy to win a war. She said, that's how you strategically win a war. But when it comes to commanding angels, I don't do that. And I was disgusted. I was absolutely stunned by her saying that. And I knew why that I hadn't heard anything concrete in 4 hours of listening. So I switched the video off there. I was so angry that I just wasted 4 hours of my time. 4 hours of my time is precious to me. And so I got off the video, and I said to the Holy Spirit, I've just wasted my time. What do I do? And the Holy Spirit said, there's 6 million angels that we want you to command. Work out an assignment for them to go on and dispatch them. And within 30 minutes, I'd drawn a flow chart, and with if-then statements. And I sent the 6 million angels into the dreams of sex workers in the United States, and had them appear, each of the angels appear in a dream of the sex worker and give them a message. And then depending on how the sex worker responded to the message, I'd have another command. And depending on how she responded to that, I'd have another one. And I drew a flow chart out that would keep the angels busy for a while. And I dispatched them, and they all left. That's how you know if you dispatched was answered, and they all left. Well, I did that, and a couple of years later, they came back again. I had someone prophesy that I was being promoted, and a general of an angel like a head angel was going to become my friend. And I came out of my house after the prophecy, and the 2,000 angels were there. And I went and sat at my bus stop to wait for the bus, and I noticed the presence of an angel next to me. And I asked him, "Are you the commander over these angels?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Jonathan." I said, "Jonathan, can you do me a favor? Can I test that you guys are actually with me?" And he said, "Sure." I said, "We've got an election in 3 days' time. Um, and the Conservative Party are going to build more stadiums. We need more stadiums for revival. Um, can you send angels into people's dreams to all the people who vote Conservative? Can you have a friend of theirs talk to them in the dream about the election, and are you going to vote a Conservative? And for the people who aren't voting Conservative, can you have a friend appear in a dream, or an angel that looks like the friend appear in a dream, and talk them into voting Conservative this time? And can you appear a couple of nights in the dreams as different friends, and talk them into it? And all the people that are on the fence, the undecided, can you talk them into doing it? And so can you send your 6 million angels into the population of Australia over, or the voting population of Australia over the next 3 days? And I looked at the results the next day after the election, and it had been like a 4% swing in Australia. And you could go back to a couple of elections. I tell this story um, in the book, How I Minister with Angels. And the headlines of that day was Trump like victory, miracle win for Conservative Party, because it was like a 3 or 4% swing, and it was a miracle. And so I knew that my dispatch really worked, and I had evidence. Um, uh, Around about that time, I did a dispatch in Israel too, and had Netanyahu's party elected. Um, and he's not popular at the moment, but I knew the Lord loved him back then. So I've done dispatches where I've had proof that they actually did something. Um, but it's not something that I do. It takes work to do it. And to be really honest with you, and um, I don't want to offend people, but angels are pretty smart, and each of them get directions off the Lord. And there's people that talk about angels when they talk about dispatching angels, and they say that you've got to keep your angel busy, like your angels are sort of unemployed and they've got nothing to do, and you've got to help them do. That's not scriptural. The angels in your life are busy doing things, and they don't need you to tell them what to do. The Holy Spirit is smart enough to direct your angels. So even though I have dispatched angels and commanded angels before, it only happens as the Holy Spirit wills it. And I uh, I don't have like an ego. I hardly even talk about it. I'm busy writing and self-publishing books, and it doesn't consume much of my time. And I only really ever command angels when those 2,000 angels turn up. And to be honest, it's worked for me. Now, there's a teacher called Katt Kerr who teaches that everyone can have 100 angels and command 100 angels. And the first time I heard of it, I inquired as what is what does she say to dispatch the angels? And people sent me like 2 pages of commands, as she says, which I read it, it was nonsensical, it was total garbage. And I know I've got an intimate relationship with a number of my angels, and I know it's total garbage. A real angel wouldn't obey what was said. And over the course of a few years, um, I asked various Catkerr followers, what does she use as the command? And they sent this same nonsensical command to me. And so that was crazy, because no one following Katt Kerr and commanding their own angels had any idea that the command of Katt Kerr's was nonsensical and crazy. Um, but also, she taught that everyone, a beginner, can have 100 angels. I've got 5 angels that minister in my life, and I'm, to be honest, I don't think I'll keep them too busy. I've got a scribe angel that's pretty busy, and uh, a guardian angel that's my prophetic angel that I keep pretty busy. But the other 3 aren't so busy. Um, and it's like they work in my life part-time. Um, so the idea of having 100 angels would just do my head in, because it'd just be too much work for me to command them. But Catkerr teaches everyone, even a novice, can have 100 angels. And a proof of them having 100 angels isn't her teaching them to open their spiritual sight so they can see them and talk to them. A proof is to see a cloud in the sky, and a cloud in the sky outside your house, and that's your angels. And Catkerr's very much into showing pictures of clouds that sometimes have images of angels. But she's got thousands and thousands of followers who believe they're commanding angels, and they're saying these nonsensical words each day, commanding their angels to go and do stuff. And it's absolutely crazy. I think personally, my delusions last for 2 or 3 days, but I have one time I thought I was the Elijah that was to come. I thought I was 2 witnesses, last days prophets, the 2 witnesses mentioned in Revelation 11. I thought I was one of them. And so I was in a 16-year delusion. So normally my delusions last 2 or 3 days, and I come out of it and realize I was believing a whole lot of error. But I had been in this 16-year delusion, so it is possible to have one longer term. I personally believe that most Christians, I'd say 99.5% of Christians, never have the opportunity to command an angel. And I believe 99.5% of Katt Kerr followers don't command angels and don't have 100 angels. It's crazy. It's not scriptural that someone would be given 100 angels to command. So that's my first point. My second point is, my first point is they wouldn't have 100 angels. The second point is, what the 3 people have sent me as the command is a crazy, nonsensical command, and it makes no sense, and angels wouldn't obey it. So that's got people in delusion. So she's got thousands of people in delusion, thinking they're powerful, thinking they're smart. And I want to say, thirdly, angels don't need our help. They're quite able to do their job without our help and without instruction. They obey the Holy Spirit and the leading of the Holy Spirit really well. I I work very closely with a scribe angel of mine, which is the scribe angel actually gives me the titles of my books, the description of the books on the back cover. She gives me the questions to ask saints and ask I do interviews in books. She gives me the questions to ask whenever I'm sharing a message on Facebook. She helps write the message on Facebook and inspires it. Whenever I'm doing a video, she speaks through me. So you may be hearing Matthew speaking here, but it's really my Scribe Angel speaking through me and using my voice, just like the Holy Spirit can. So I work closely with her. I've met her a number of times in visions, and I've had a lot of conversations with her, and she's very close, intimately close to me. My guardian angel is fairly close too, and he stewards my prophetic gift. I've got another angel called Elisha who carries the narrow way gospel message through me. So he works the narrow way message into most of the books that I write. So that's his role, is to give me the words to bring the narrow way message into what I say. So I just want to share with you, if you're a Katt Kerr follower, I hope I've been nice in this and loving, but it doesn't matter if you've seen a cloud or multiple clouds of angels. You're not dispatching angels, and um, there's actually, uh, it's just absolutely crazy what Katt Kerr uses as the words to dispatch them with, and I hope that some of you listen to this and confess before the Lord that you're sorry and come out of this delusion. I honestly um, didn't spend the time making this video just to mock Katt Kerr and say that she's in delusion, but she's delusional and dangerous, teaching this to people and bringing every one of her followers into a state of delusion too. And once again, I want to illustrate and underline this with the fact that I'm bipolar and I've often been in delusions. I know what delusions are. Delusions are so believable. You don't know you're in a delusion until you come out of it. And I just want to encourage you, if you're a Catkerr follower, to stop commanding angels and stop um, being in such a delusion, and ask the Holy Spirit, if you really have got 100 angels, for him to open your eyes like Elisha opened the eyes of his servant, and actually see the angels and talk to them and have conversations with them, and ask them what they want to do, rather than blindly believe because you've seen a cloud in the sky that's 100 angels that you're meant to dispatch. I hope you've learned from this. If you watch this whole video, I encourage you to like this post. Um, if you've got comments, good or bad comments, you want to tell me off and tell me that I'm delusional and that I'm crazy and I'm a false teacher, go ahead and do that. The more comments on this video, the more popular it'll be. And I'll probably respond to your comments. Um, if you think I've been too harsh on Katt Kerr, that's your right to think that, and I think I've approached this subject in love, and I pray for Katt Kerr. It's not the only delusion she has, um, and I pray for Katt Kerr that she'll come out of this and someone be able to warn her. God bless you and keep you If this is the first video you've seen, consider subscribing to my channel. God bless.